like a turbo booster.
I'm just so loving our morning music. And also our guests, we got Greg Frost here from the Frost Mortgage Group and joining Shauna this morning. This is great. It's like financial literacy couch day. This is wonderful. I love this. And you guys work
together. Literacy?
Yes.
That's good, okay.
And you guys on the couch work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've worked with some of our folks at Frost Mortgage.
Small community here in town.
Absolutely.
Right. But it's one that I know that as you are, training people and getting people, financially literate, essentially. I mean, are you finding that it's easier to basically work with somebody on a mortgage, or do you find that people are coming to you guys still needing a lot of these basic skills? Do you guys find yourself on the ground?
Part of our job, as Shauna knows, is to consult and counsel people on what's best for them. And part of our job is not to just assess their creditworthiness, but to assess where they are, where they want to be, and help them get the mortgage product that gets them there.
Right. Right. Are you finding that people come in knowing any of that, or do you find that they are misinformed going in?
People know what they know, and they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And so what we try to do is help them with specifics and take a look. We're interviewing them.
Right.
And when we get done with our interview, with our loan application, we know more about them than they know about themselves, if you want to know the truth. It's a real assessment.
Yes.
I remember when I bought my house, I learned more about myself filling out that application than I ever thought I would ever know.
My son's getting ready to get married, and I said, if you're smart, you guys will come in and apply for a mortgage, and I'll interview both of you. And I said, you're going to find out more about your fiance than you ever wanted to know.
And has Greg Jr. come in?
No, he
Well, we might talk about some interesting stuff here. There's a company called Lighthouse Title out of Michigan. And maybe you can give us a quick backstory on this.
Well, the CFPB, which is the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, that's this big agency that was established by presidential order to oversee lending.
Years and years ago.
No, recently by the current president. They've changed the rules on us with regard to marketing services agreement. And we used to have marketing services agreement with real estate companies and with builders, and we would have office space in their offices, and they would refer clients to us. Well, the CFPB doesn't like that anymore. They haven't put a stop to it yet. They're just fining people. They're finding fault, and they're legislating by enforcement. Okay, and they just find this company that's had an ongoing relationship with the lender for 7 or 8 years, and they just fined them $200,000.
Wow!
So the whole industry's going. I've got a couple of marketing services agreements. I don't know if you guys do over at the credit union, but I know several of the other mortgage companies in town have marketing services agreements, and we're looking at.
Yeah. So what do you think that could mean? I mean that.
Well, it could mean we have to shut them down just to play safe. Nobody wants to fight the CFPB. Richard Cordray and all the guys over there, they make us look like we're just terrible people. And so we don't want to do battle with them.
Right.
So it's really shaking things up.
Right. Well, I know that, Friday was the jobs report, and tomorrow the Federal Reserve meets. Right. And the jobs report really wasn't that great. And we keep talking about interest rates when you come on, and I think it's interesting because the talk is always interest rates are going to go up. They are going to go up. But then we keep getting this bad news, or really not good news, at least with jobs reports, with everything else. What's your take on what's going to happen tomorrow?
Well, interest rates, let me speak in general first. Interest rates have to go up sooner or later, right? They're at historic lows. So when they're at historic lows, that's the bottom, and I mean, they've got to go. I don't see them going any lower, do you? Below 3.5%? I don't think so.
Right.
So,
and how do you explain this to the students in your classes when you talk about interest rates? Do you explain to them like this is the bank rate, this is the base rate? Do you explain do you go into that kind of detail?
Well, we do talk a lot about how your credit score affects your interest rate, especially when you go to buy a car, when you go to buy a house, and the importance of the credit score in getting a lower interest rate.
Right.
And we talk a lot about just how interest rates work, how you can, on both sides. So when you have a credit card, for example, how the interest rate affects how much you pay, your monthly payment, and the amount that you pay over the course of a loan, for example, like a car. But we also talk about earning interest. So
Oh.
when we talk about saving and investing, how that interest can work for you as well.
Right, right. And so now as the interest rates, they have been so low, and we're looking at what might happen tomorrow. What's your over/under on?
I don't see them going up tomorrow. And what's happening is there's been a constant discussion that they've got to go up sooner or later. Maybe this is the time they're going to go up.
Right.
And every time they get to that precipice, you get bad economic news.
Right.
And the last thing Janet Yellen, the chairman of the Fed, wants to do is anything that's going to slow down the economy.
Because it's fragile.
The economy is very fragile, and we know it all too well here in Albuquerque. We're like one of the fragilest of fragile economies here.
Yeah.
And so anything that's going to stop housing is going to be bad for the economy, and it just hasn't taken off. So I don't see her doing anything.
Yeah. Well, you want to give us an update this morning too, before I forget to ask, on the Zero for Heroes.
Well, Zero for Heroes, we have a mortgage program at Frost Mortgage that eliminates all lender closing costs for veterans and active military. We call it our Zero for Heroes program. So we basically are saying thank you to our active military and our veterans by virtue of not charging them anything, lender closing costs on their mortgages. So we help them every way we can.
Yeah. And by limit, do you talk about closing costs too in the classes and all of these things?
We do. We talk about everything that goes into purchasing a home. Probably not as detailed as Mr. Frost, but some of the basic concepts, absolutely, so students know what to expect when they get to that point in their lives.
Yeah, and when it comes to things like Zero for Heroes, are those things that people kind of come into your office understanding, or is it kind of mind-blowing all of a sudden when they're like, wow, there's no closing costs?
No, they don't understand it, and they're very pleased when they find out. We have to do what's called a good faith estimate of closing costs. When you come down there and they see lender this, zero, lender charges this, zero, lender charges this, zero, and it's very, very appreciated.
It's got to be fun to
That's
be
great.
able to do that too.
It really is, and these are the people that need it the most. I mean, these
Right.
people have made fantastic sacrifices for us.
Right. Sounds like a plan. We'll be back in a couple seconds with our friend Steve the Curious Townie,
Yes.
and a whole lot more on the Morning Brew.